Some places are not meant to be lived in, yet people never left. Villages cling to water, float on reeds, or balance on unstable ground. They look peaceful from a distance, quiet, beautiful, almost untouched. But survival here comes at a cost. Every day, something is at risk. The land shifts, the water rises, the cold isolates. Every structure feels temporary. Nothing here is truly permanent. Every day depends on adaptation. And still, life continues, measured, precise, resilient. From floating islands on Lake Titicaca to stilt cities like Ganvier, to frozen edges near Lake Kovskol. Different continents, same challenge. The question is not how these places exist, but how they continue to endure. A village that floats, not by design, but by survival. On the high, cold waters of Lake Titicaca, the ground itself is layered from reeds. It shifts gently underfoot. Storms can tear at its edges. Fire spreads fast across dry surfaces. Stability is never guaranteed. The people of the Uros build their islands from totora reeds, stacking fresh layers constantly to prevent decay. Homes, boats, even watchtowers rise from the same material. Maintenance is part of daily life, not an occasional task. These islands sit at over 3,800 meters above sea level. Beneath them, the lake can reach depths of more than 280 meters. Around 2,000 Uros inhabitants remain, spread across dozens of small floating communities. Fishing begins early. Reed harvesting follows. Children travel by boat to nearby schools. Tourism adds income, but traditional practices still shape routines. The islands endure because they are always being rebuilt. And as the reeds beneath slowly decompose, its survival depends on something that is always fading. Homes stand on stilts, suspended above tidal water instead of land. At the edge of Lantau Island, Tai O faces shifting tides, coastal erosion, and seasonal typhoons. Floodwaters can rise without warning. Wooden walkways creak under constant moisture. Salt air slowly wears everything down. Residents adapt by building stilt houses anchored into the seabed, lifting daily life above the waterline. Narrow bridges connect homes in a tight network. Fishing remains central, supported by small-scale drying, salting, and shrimp paste production that preserves both food and tradition. The village has a population of around 2,000 people. Tidal variations shape movement throughout the day, exposing mudflats at low tide and submerging them hours later. Boats drift through the channels. Nets are checked, repaired, and reset. Visitors pass through, but the rhythm stays consistent, quiet, functional, and tied to the sea. The structures endure by adjusting to water that never stays still. As tides continue to shift and modern development closes in, It survives in between, never fully land, never fully sea. A city built on water, anchored by nothing but wood and routine. Across Lake Nokue, Gonvier stretches outward on stilts above shallow, shifting water. Seasonal floods reshape the shoreline. Pollution and changing fish stocks add pressure. Stability depends on balance, both structural and ecological. Homes stand on wooden piles driven into the lakebed, lifting entire families above the surface. Movement happens by canoe, not by road. Fishing forms the backbone of survival, supported by fish farming enclosures that control and replenish supply. Gonvier is home to roughly 20,000 residents, making it one of the largest lake villages in Africa. The water beneath averages just a few meters deep, yet it dictates every aspect of life. Morning activity begins with boats gliding between houses. Goods are traded directly from canoe to canoe. Schools, markets, and daily routines continue without ever touching solid ground. The village persists through constant adjustment rather than permanence. As environmental conditions shift and modern systems approach, it survives, but only by constantly adjusting. A village arranged by the slope, each house rising just above the next. Tucked into the forested hills near Chiang Mai, Mae Kampong sits along a narrow stream that cuts through steep terrain. Heavy rains can trigger landslides. Mist lingers, keeping the ground damp and unstable for much of the year. Homes are built from wood and raised on stilts, adapting to uneven ground and seasonal runoff. The layout follows elevation, allowing water to pass naturally downhill without pooling. Small-scale farming and tea cultivation support the community, while homestays provide controlled tourism income. The village rests at around 1,300 meters above sea level. Fewer than 400 residents live along a single main path that winds through the hillside. Morning activity moves quietly. Tea leaves are gathered. Water flows steadily past wooden walkways. Visitors arrive, but the pace remains measured and consistent. The settlement holds its structure by working with the slope, not against it. As rainfall patterns shift and interest from outside grows, its balance depends on forces it cannot control. Sunstone towers rise from a valley that winter tries to erase each year. Set high in the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Ushkuli faces isolation, avalanches, and long periods of heavy snow. Roads can disappear for weeks. Temperatures drop well below freezing, limiting movement and access to supplies. The community relies on thick stone houses and defensive towers built centuries ago, designed to retain heat and provide shelter during harsh conditions. Livestock farming and small-scale agriculture continue during short summers, while preserved food supports the winter months. Ushkuli sits at around 2,100 meters above sea level, making it one of the highest continuously inhabited settlements in Europe. Its population remains small, with only a few hundred residents spread across several hamlets. Daily activity follows the rhythm of the climate. Animals are tended close to home. Firewood is stored in advance. Movement slows as snow deepens, but routines persist. The village endures by preparing for seasons that dominate most of the year. As access improves and conditions slowly change, isolation is no longer guaranteed, and neither is its way of life. An island so small, every step feels shared. Off the Caribbean coast of Colombia, Santa Cruz del Islote compresses an entire community onto a patch of land barely larger than a few city blocks. Space is limited. Rising seas and storms press against its edges. Fresh water is scarce, and resources must be brought in from outside. Homes are built wall to wall, using concrete and wood to maximize every meter. With no natural fresh water source, rain collection and deliveries from the mainland become essential. Fishing supports daily needs, while strong social structure helps manage shared space. The island covers roughly 1 hectare and holds a population of over 1,000 people, making it one of the most densely populated places on Earth. Movement is constant but compact. Children play in narrow passages. Boats arrive with supplies. Conversations travel easily across short distances. The settlement functions through proximity, not expansion. There is no extra space, only shared existence. As pressure on space and resources continues to grow, one question remains: how long can a community thrive when there is nowhere left to spread? Still water that freezes into a road each winter. On the southern edge of Lake Kovsgol, Katkal rests between forest and open steppe. Temperatures drop sharply for much of the year. Ice covers the lake for months, while strong winds and isolation limit movement and supply access. Residents adapt by preparing for long winters and short, active summers. Wooden homes are built to retain heat. Livelihoods depend on herding, small-scale fishing, and seasonal tourism tied to the lake's clarity and surrounding landscape. Ice roads form naturally, allowing limited transport across the frozen surface. Katkal sits at about 1,645 meters above sea level. Lake Kovsgol reaches depths of over 260 meters, holding nearly 70% of Mongolia's fresh water. Daily life shifts with the seasons. Boats move across open water in summer. In winter, vehicles replace them, crossing the same space now turned solid. Activity slows, but never stops. The village persists by adjusting to a lake that changes state each year. What was once water becomes ground, then disappears again. As climate patterns begin to shift, a quiet question remains. What happens when a place built around seasonal certainty begins to lose that predictability? Roofs curve upward like boats, as if ready to leave the land at any moment. In the highlands of South Sulawesi, Toraja villages sit among steep hills and dense vegetation. Landslides, heavy rainfall, and limited road access shape the environment. The terrain isolates communities, while humidity steadily wears down structures. Homes, known as tongkonan, are built on wooden piles with sharply arched roofs. Construction follows tradition, using layered materials that allow airflow and reduce moisture damage. Agriculture supports daily needs, with rice terraces and livestock integrated into the landscape. The region sits at elevations ranging from 700 to over 1,500 meters. Toraja populations are spread across multiple villages, forming a broader community of several 100,000 people. Daily routines move between farming, maintenance, and ceremonial preparation. Buffalo are raised carefully. Houses are repaired and preserved. Rituals remain a visible part of life, connecting present activity to long-standing beliefs. The villages endure by balancing environment and tradition. As modernization reaches deeper into the highlands, change is coming, and meaning may shift with it. A lakeside village shaped by mist and memory. Near the border of Thailand and Myanmar, Ban Rak Thai sits quietly within steep, forested hills. Dense fog rolls in without warning. Roads wind sharply along the slopes, making access slow and sometimes hazardous, especially during the rainy season. The settlement reflects its Yunnanese heritage, with clay houses and tea plantations forming the core of daily life. Terraced fields follow the contours of the land, reducing erosion while maximizing limited space. Tea cultivation and small-scale tourism support the local economy. Ban Rak Thai rests at around 1,800 meters above sea level. Its population remains small, with only a few hundred residents maintaining the village's rhythm. Morning activity begins with tea harvesting. Steam rises from cups along the lakeside. Boats drift slowly across still water, while narrow paths connect homes and farms. The village sustains itself through careful balance between tradition and landscape. As tourism grows and roads improve, isolation is fading, and change follows closely behind. A coastline of black sand, shaped by fire and tide. Along the eastern edge of Bali, a med stretches between volcanic slopes and open sea. The land carries traces of past eruptions, while strong currents and seasonal storms affect fishing and travel. Fresh water can be limited, and the dry climate adds pressure to daily resources. Communities adapt through a mix of fishing, salt farming, and small-scale tourism. Traditional Jukung boats line the shore, designed for stability in shifting waters. Salt is still produced by hand, using evaporation methods that rely on sun and patience. The coastline runs for roughly 14 kilometers, with villages spread along narrow strips between mountain and sea. Mount Agung rises nearby, standing over 3,000 meters and influencing both landscape and risk. Morning begins with boats launching into calm water. Nets are set, salt beds are checked, and guest houses open quietly to visitors. Life continues by adjusting to both ocean and volcano. As tourism expands and natural forces remain constant, balance is not achieved. It is continuously managed. Limestone cliffs rise abruptly, enclosing a village in quiet scale. Along the banks of the Nam U River, Nong Kyaw sits between steep karst formations and flowing water. Seasonal rains can swell the river, while landslides and erosion shape the surrounding slopes. Access remains limited, with a single bridge connecting both sides. Residents adapt by building close to the river while respecting its shifts. Fishing, small-scale farming, and growing tourism support daily life. Structures are simple, often elevated slightly to manage water levels during heavy rains. Nong Kea rests at roughly 300 meters above sea level, with a population of only a few thousand people. The surrounding cliffs rise sharply, creating a natural enclosure that defines the landscape. Morning begins with mist lifting off the river. Boats move slowly across the current. Paths fill gradually with quiet activity as markets open and fields are tended. The village continues by adjusting to terrain that limits expansion. As development slowly reaches deeper into the valley, a question remains. Can a place shaped by isolation retain its rhythm once connection becomes easier? Not every place is meant to be lived in. And yet, people stay. They adjust, slowly, quietly. Not by changing the world around them, but by changing themselves. Balance replaces control. Patience replaces certainty. Survival becomes a daily practice, not a goal. These villages do not resist nature. They move with it. And in that fragile balance, something rare appears. A way of life that endures without needing to conquer. Because sometimes, survival isn't about control, only about knowing when to adapt and when to endure.